Are you ready?
Irashaimase. Bienvenidos a YouTube Art of Comics. Soy Andres Salazar. I'm Andres Salazar, and welcome to the show here. I thought wouldn't it be fun to do this all in Spanish? Y hablamos de arte y comics and all that. Wouldn't that be cool? I would love to do that, but I feel like doing it all in Spanish might be weird because I think the majority of everyone does not speak Spanish that listens, but I think it'd be cool. Entonces, today's title, we're going to talk about Pablo Picasso. And I'm going to base this all on this tome that I got. This is by Tashkin. This is a 2 big volume set. And we're going to do this in 2 parts. We're going to basically, most of the information and my thoughts are going to come from book 1. And then we'll do book 2 another time. But as the title suggests, the topic. Is Picasso a genius? If so, why? This is not going to be a hot take, okay? I think there are those who think that he is fine. he's okay. And I'm going to proposit the idea that, he is a genius, and there are some very important, concrete reasons why. But before we get into that, let me first pitch you on a couple things. One, The Art of Comics has a membership. That's right. For $3, you can become a member of the channel, where I'm going to be doing some members-only videos. You also, as a member, get access to videos before everybody else. And you can have a little bit more one-on-one, kind of like, tell me what you want, I can give you what you want kind of thing. So it's more personal, it's more like direct. You get more of a say in what I'm presenting here for information. So think about that. My website, probably most importantly too, is my website, andresalazarart.com. Go check out my paintings. Go see what's going on. This is a new one I'm working on here. This is about, actually, I think it's almost done. Like, we're talking 80% done. There's a couple little things. I really like this stuff, but yeah, there's a couple little things with the background, and then I think we're like done. So that's done. Anyway, all my art is there. Comic books, illustrations, sketches, paintings, the whole shebang at andresalazar.com. I have a Patreon, of course, as well. Patreon gets access to like 3 times a week or so. I'm posting images, comics, things like that I'm working on. So that's more like, the know. So Patreon, my website with art, and memberships. There you go. Okay, let's talk about Picasso. Pablo Picasso. Spaniard from España. And I'm going to flip the camera over, so we'll just go into this. In fact, let's just do this now and just like chit-chat about why I think he is the reason why everybody talks about Pablo Picasso. There's a reason. And I'm learning about it. Now I'm going to share it with you. Why it's like, Pablo Picasso, who do you think you are? Picasso? Picasso. There's a reason why he is synonymous with modern art. Let's talk about it. Okay, welcome everyone to the channel again. Bienvenidos a la canal de Art of Comics. Today we're going to talk about Pablo Picasso, 1881, 1973. We're going to really focus on this section, which is when he's, what is he, like 11? or 80. So the work from when he was 9 years old till in 1930. 36. And this really is to propose this concept that he is a genius, an art genius, and why and how. This is not revolutionary. This is not a hot take at all. I think everyone believes this, but I want to give you guys some reasons, based most on this book and what I'm learning. I really enjoyed watching his development, learning about these different eras. So let's just start right off the bat. here's a painting that is, he's 20. He paints this painting. It's a self-portrait of him as a 20. Okay. And it is like, can you imagine painting this at the age of 20? And then painting this painting at the age of like 90. And that right there tells you so much. One of the reasons why I feel like he's a genius is his story is one of constantly searching and changing and evolving, right? And as an artist, am looking and searching and growing and changing my styles, I'm learning about that with Picasso. In here, his rendering. I mean, Picasso could draw, okay? He was born of an artist. His father was an artist, a classically trained artist. He learned from his father. He went to some of the best art schools as a kid. I mean, one of the things, and I'm just going to write this down. He did this painting here. I hope my camera is really, you were able to see it. And I'm kind of like, I'm worried that the freaking gloss on this damn paper on this light. Here, let me turn this off. There, let's just turn it off because you need to see this properly. And luckily the iPhone handles the shadows okay. Yeah, this is fine. He did this at the age of 14. Okay? He was 14 years old. Okay? When he painted this. This is like, would be considered a master painting. Modernism, classic, romanticism. He is painting something as a 14-year-old that you would say, okay, this guy has freaking chops. If you could think about a boy, a person who grew up in art and was at this level as a teenager, a young teenager, you can imagine how he was wanting to learn new things. And so he knew the history of art. He was classically trained. He understand all the rules. That's why he's a master, right? And he pushes art. He pushes the meaning of art, the meaning of the lines. That's why he's a genius. Is because he created. He created movements, styles. He was the originator of things. And that is why Picasso is considered, in my opinion, by most, the founder of modern art, right? Now, modern art, actually, what we consider modern art, started in 1850 with Romanticism, right? So 1850 to 1960 is considered modern art. But I'm gonna put it on his shoulders because he's gonna do some things that's gonna blow the freaking doors off art. Okay, so yeah, modern art started before Picasso, but he's really going to create something completely different in which we say that's modern art. Here's some more work that he's doing. One of the things he had was, and I'm gonna say that I'm gonna write this down too, is he had these distinct art, not eras, but movements. That was the word I was looking for. He has distinct art movements. Now he creates. Picasso created those. And we'll go through these movements, these changes, And he didn't do everything all by himself. I mean, he had friends, he had people, he was inspired, blah, blah, blah. But he's pushing, again, one of the reasons I say in number 3, he's pushing those boundaries of what is art, why are these things happening, along with others. This is more work. He's in his early 20s. Now, this is the painting, and we're going to get to this painting as why. This is the painting, and I cannot pronunciate it. It's in French. I'm not good at French at all. Les Demoiselles, Les Demoiselles de Avignon. I don't know how to say, dude, that was horrible. I don't know how to say it. This damn painting. Here, we'll jump to it. We'll jump to it because this is important. This is the painting that like starts it off. Where is it? Okay. We're going to have to just find it. There it is. This is the painting, and I wish I knew what this is, like women of the something, right? The damsels, like, I don't know how to say damsel in French, but it's Les Demoiselles de l'Avignon. I don't know, whatever. It was in Spanish, I could say it. Anyway, this painting, when he's 26 years old, is what people consider the beginning of modern art. This painting here, this is the beginning of what we would consider as Cubism, a term he did not create. It's actually kind of like a misnomer. But this painting here is what started the whole freaking movement of Cubism. And he is kind of the father of that. Now, what I found fascinating, and I learned from this book, is this painting. There were 827 sketches prior to this painting, okay? 827 sketches. This was one of them, okay? So, why is he a genius? Well, I don't know if it's considered a genius, but it's definitely something that's like important the way he did it. He planned, he drew, he organized. He planned these paintings. Sometimes when I think about my work lately, I have been painting. I have been doing a lot of automatic painting, which you've seen on the channel. I've been doing some planning, but a lot of it is intuitive. A lot of it is just like what I'm feeling and how things are looking at the moment. It's a very much a immediate mode, like planar, right? And it's work that, you know, I mean, Claude Monet would do that way too, right? He would paint outside and he would just paint the freaking boats and stuff. So I'm doing that. But after reading this book, I'm thinking more and more about why am I not planning these better and really finding what is the best, you know, composition. What is the best way to really get these figures to look right, you know? And I think that is important. And I learned that from him, that he's like, I mean, 800 sketches to just come up with the composition for this painting. Now, this painting becomes what's considered a masterpiece, right? And this painting is what begins this movement. But it wasn't just a spontaneous thing. It was planned. And so I just was very impressed by that. When we go through just the various styles of work, the types of things he's doing, the way he's looking at color and shape, you know, we talk about this all the time on the channel. The principles of design, the elements of art, shape, line, form, color, texture, value. Those, I mean, he is using all those and really experimenting with what those mean artistically. Look at this stuff too. These are brilliant sketches, various styles. It wasn't just oil paintings. It could use chalk, pastels, what have you. He was doing, you know, this kind of cubist, synthetic cubism, things like that in the 30s. This kind of, I mean, just really brilliant, beautiful color work. And some of these aren't that big. Some of them are somewhat big, but they're not, some of them are not massive. I always thought for some reason his work was massive, but they weren't that big. And then this stuff is really fascinating with these textures. And they did three-dimensional. Okay, anyway. I can go on and on. I get passionate about this because I've learned so much about Picasso, and I'm just freaking fascinated. Okay, here's him. I mean, this is what he was born in 81, 96. So this is 15 years old. 15 years old, and he does this painting of himself. He has a lot. There's a lot of self-portraits. If you look though at the colors and the way they are blending in, how so good it is. It is so good. He could paint like the classics. He could do it, and people knew it. With some sketches. I mean, this is great stuff. That's beautiful too, that face. There's a couple that become really famous. I mean, this is a pencil sketch. When did he do this? Yeah, he was just a kid. He was like 12 and he did that. I mean, can you imagine a 12, 13-year-old doing this? Or how about this one with his back? And look at that texture. This is the one. This was kind of like a master study, although this is his father modeling. Look at this painting. 96. He was 15 years old and he painted this. Can you see how amazing this is? Can you appreciate what I'm saying? I can't even imagine. How big is this? This is about 4 or 5 feet by 3 feet. Okay, so decent size, not massive, but look at the lighting, look at the lights, and look at the colors in these faces, in the darkness. It's like, oh my gosh, it's just so rich. It's so rich. It's so deep. And, I'm looking at some of my art and I'm like, dang, dude, it's just like dull and flat and everything. This is like, that's like 50 feet back somewhere, just the way he's able to, and the white, it's just brilliant. He did this as a damn teenager. So the boy could paint so well. Here's some these are fun portraits. And this actually got me into doing more portraits. I've been doing a lot of portraits lately just because of this. I'm thinking, wow, I need to do portraits just to bone up on that whole world. Even though you can't really sell portraits and it's not necessarily the thing nowadays, but these are beautiful, beautiful done. That's great. There's some great ones that he's doing. That's a beautiful one as well. He could do landscapes. He could do friggin' all, And he would take other guys and other kind of ideas and styles. And so, here's another one. This is the other one. Science and Charity. Again, he's doing this when he's 16 years old. He's 16, and he makes what we would consider as a masterpiece. We would say, dang gum, that's freaking amazing. So you got this kid who's just there, hitting it on all freaking cylinders. And he decides to not go down that road, but to try his own thing. And he's now going to go kind of against his father's wishes as far as being a more classical painter. And he's going to go and really experiment and try new things. And then we start seeing stuff like this, right? Look how graphic this is. This was done before the 19th century, 125 years ago, and it looks super modern and stylish and graphic, and you would see that on a damn flyer for some pub, legit. And he was doing that then. And this looks like this is like from Towels. Shoot, there's a French artist that's just like this. I can't remember his name. It starts with a T, hyphenated. I need to learn how to pronunciate these names because I mean this looks like Degas, you know. So does this. I mean he just could. The little punk could freaking paint, man. He was a master. Okay, so look, this is like what's his face? Leindecker, right? Does this remind you of Leindecker with the angled, hard kind of geometric look, the bold outline? He was doing Leindecker before Leindecker, right? So the guy could like, and then look at this. This is like Impressionist stuff. Now, Impressionist was before him, so that had already come and gone, right? Van Gogh had come and gone, Claude Monet, Manet, Matisse, all those dudes had already came and gone. So he had seen this, right? But he's now like incorporating that. Look at these. Aren't these beautiful? And they're just so different. And they're just fascinating work. That one's great too. Yeah, dude, he could, and look at this one. This is like a pastel. Look how energetic and beautiful. I would love to have seen more of this kind of gestural stuff that he was doing. I dig this a lot. In fact, just thinking about that, I need to really focus more on this stuff, which I like more than kind of I'm doing more controlled rendered stuff, but I really like the more energetic things. Okay. Or I'm not doing that. I don't know. I have no idea. So one of the things that I mentioned before is these different periods or different movements. Now, he has a blue period and he has a rose period prior to the big movement, which will be like Cubism, which will be kind of one of the things he's most known for. But just quickly going over some of these things. That's another a self-portrait that he did, and another one. But yeah, he could draw. So it wasn't like, oh, you know, he just knows abstract and he just knows how to do these weird shapes and stuff like that. No, dude, he could do a sculpture of wood. He could do this cubist stuff, okay? That is like so bizarre and so intricate and so like mind expanding and confusing. Like, how do you even like come up with these ideas? Because this is not, let me just point this out, why this is kind of genius. This is not simply breaking down the face in planes. Okay, this is not that. Because yeah, we could do that. I could sit here and I could even do that. I could draw the face in planes and I can make it, you know, like break it down. This is something completely different. This is like a fractal kind of way of seeing the world. And to be able to do this is incredible, to see things this way. Yeah, I'm skipping ahead because that's okay. But this is like amazing work that he's doing that has never been done before. That's the other reason why he's a genius. He was the first to come up with it. Now, George Broke, I'm saying Brock. Maybe it's Broke, I'm not sure. We'll say Brock. George Brock was his buddy, and they did a lot of this together, and they kind of like co-created this style. And in fact, when Picasso leaves Cubism to go play with other things, Brock like continues with it. But the fact that they're like, and here's landscapes. The fact that they came up with this, and this was not a popular thing. Well, caveat. When it first came out, people were like appalled. And then it became popular. And then it was like Cubism was all over the world, right? It was like, okay, now we're going to do this. And this is like the way internationally art was handled. But look at this. It's quite amazing. of how this was made in such a different way. So he could do that, but remember, he was doing for decades, you know, stuff like this. So he knew how to draw. The blue period is basically, it's not about emotionally blue necessarily, although there are a lot of sad pictures. It's blue because that was the main color in tone for most of his work. But there is also a thematic element, perhaps, as far as loneliness, things like that. There was some erotica stuff, but not a whole lot. But these are just really kind of fun. And he's really moving out, right? If you look at these pieces, these look very different than the early stuff he was doing as a student. And I mean, this is like the previous art movement, right? This is like studying the masters. And he goes from that, and it's like, sorry, Dad, we're not going to do anymore. We're doing this, which is not that. You know, more stylized, different line quality, different feel, you know, a whole nother thing. But that is beautiful. Look at that. That is like very well rendered, very, very nice. This is also extremely nice. These really nice lines. So he knew what he was freaking doing. After we go to the blue, we go to the next one, which is Rose. And here we're really focusing on, he's got this deal with harlequins and jugglers and circus things. And so we see a lot of those kind of imagery. This is beautiful work here. This is really, really nice colors. This stuff is just really freaking cool. That's where this cover here comes from as well. Just really great stuff. So he could do it all if he wanted to, and we see that time and time again. After this, then he's really kind of experimenting, and now we see him experimenting with a lot of stuff, and with the planes, with different looks of the face, of different features. Why? Because he is pushing art. He's pushing form, line. He's pushing what's representational versus abstract, right? He never goes into abstract. He never goes all the way into abstract. But he pushes cubism all the way up to the line, right? Cubism goes right to the freaking edge. And then he could go farther, and people wind up doing, and they become abstract. He never goes all the way out there. But he's down. There's some pieces that it's like really freaking abstract. So he's also got these, he does these like very thick, really form-based kind of figures, which are kind of fascinating. And he's playing really with like, okay, what are these shapes? What are the shapes necessary? Again, another self-portrait. What are the shapes necessary to read face, right? Or read this or that. Here's more sketches. Remember we talked about how this was 800, would I say 800 or 900? I think it's 827 sketches. Playing with, again, I was mentioning face. Here's that famous painting, which is in New York right now. I would love to see it one day. How big is that? I think that is pretty big. This is like 6 or 7 feet both ways. It's kind of squarish. It's not quite square. And then now we get into cubism. This is now where he basically creates an art form, right? Just like boom. So then you're thinking, okay, he's a genius. He created art form. No big deal, right? No, dude. He leaves it. Then he starts doing collages. Him and George Brock start creating things like paper mache, collages. He's like creating these pieces with art, with paper and cardboard and metal and wood. And he goes through this whole violin guitar phase, right? So a lot of guitar, violin pieces. He's still painting, of course, in oil, but then he'll incorporate things into it. He's using type. He's now adding words and letters to it to create meaning. Who else did that? I mean, people like in postmodern stuff, like, you know, someone I always talk about is like Jean Basquiat does that, right? He puts kind of words in things. That's what comics are. These are really freaking cool, using pieces of, and then he does these like three-dimensional sculptures with the damn cardboard and wood, and he's making guitars. And look at this. It's incredible. This one I really like too. It's just like, what? How are you doing these sculptures? That's not it. Then he's like, okay, I've done these sculptures. I've done all this stuff. He winds up, he does like costuming and set design and works for some theater companies for a few years. And he's doing more of these like figured, this is like collage, like straight up like glued fabric on wood and canvas, right? Completely different. He's constantly, well, I said pushes. Yeah, he's constantly pushing the form of art. He's not just a painter. That's why I think he is he's all these things. He's a sculptor. He does bronze casts. Then he starts getting a hold of cameras. He starts to look at this, and then at the same time, while he's doing that, he can still pull off this. He didn't lose his chops to be able to see, because art is seeing, drawing is seeing, and he still is able to pull off things like this, even though he's also working in things like this. So he, this is incredible. These are costumes for a show, a abstract show, and this is like someone's in this get up, right? For just like so bizarre and wild and like out there. And look at these, just really freaking cool things. And then look at these lines. Look at this line drawing. I mean, these are beautiful lines and figures. Look at these, super cool, man. Like he could do it. He knew what was up. I wanted to there's some more costumes for one of the shows I was mentioning, and look at these faces. These are brilliant. I wanted to show you these like metal pieces he did as well. Yeah. Okay. So then we go into just like this stuff, which is miraculous and intriguing and bizarre and very cool. And I'm thinking like, how do I come up with that? How would you build this? You know? And these are sketches and design ideas of pieces. See, this right here is like, this is like you're going to the edge of abstract expression, like abstract work now. Like, still a person, but we're like right there. These things, these wire three-dimensional pieces that as they're tilted, as you see them from different vantage points, the lines are different. Everything like shifts differently. And he did sketches. He drew these things. It wasn't, he's a planner. He worked it all out. You know, he worked these things out, and it's just fascinating. I mean, I'm just like blown away by the level. Here's like sculpture. I'm just blown away by what Picasso was able to do by the time he's 40. You know, now you could say, well, he's a full-time artist. He doesn't have a day job. You know, he had some shitty relationships with women, and so he just was able to focus and hone in on his art. And he had been doing this since he was a freaking child. And yes, that's true. Notwithstanding that, or maybe because of some of that, he was able to see the world in a certain way, and that way changed. And he was able to use his skills to evolve and change. And the conversation of art changed because of him. And he pushed, in a way, society and art by what was going around him. And it's freaking impressive as all hell. And we'll end here because we wanted to keep going forever. But he was, I think, a genius and a freaking the guy. You know, he created these art forms. I mean, look at this. It's just wonderful. Now, Cuernavaca, was it Guernica? Guernica? Is that the name of the piece that we're going to end on? Guernica is the big piece, War. Let me make sure I pronunciate that right, because it's actually a town. Yeah, Guernica. I'm pronunciating Guernica. Guernica is a town in Spain. It became synonymous with war, and there was some kind of like basically the Germans, along with some other countries, like just razed the town, just tore it up. And he made this big piece. We'll talk about that on part 2 in a couple weeks when I finish reading that book. But yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that he was able to just do so much and really be the conversation guy. So there you go. That's my take on Pablo Picasso. Gracias por venir. Thank you for coming to the show and listening to me ramble on about Picasso. I apologize. I just get excited, and I thought it'd be fun to do this. Let me know if you want me to keep doing these kind of things. If you just want me to go back to comics, I can do that. But, you know, I'm kind of like into this right now, so that's what I'm talking about. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.